Salutations. Happy Thursday to all of you. With bacon and crochet hearts all around as per usual. We welcome you to XAR on Twitch and YouTube. A very blessed Passover Thursday or Holy Thursday if you celebrate it today or tonight. And we are here with Tyrion Cuthbert, attorney of the Arcane, a little bit of an early hour. We certainly thank you guys for joining us a little bit early tonight. I am JR, and I am joined by Mr. Nefkanak. Hello, sir.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
It's been a long, boring day, and it's probably going to be, except for Easter, probably the next week and change are going to be boring between work and everything else that's going on.
I would rather have boring, thank you very much.
Yeah, I hear you. We also have Karam. Hi, Karam.
Hello, everyone.
And we have Shinigami Liz. Hi, Liz.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Bree is with family, might not be joining us tonight. If she does, it might be in the chat. I'm not 100% sure. But the reason we're coming on a little bit early today is because of, yes, I've been enrolled to be an Uber driver once again. So I have to pick up my family from an event later tonight. Usually on these type of nights, I would say no stream. But with Easter coming up, I want to try to see if we can get as much done in this game. So, the plan is, I'm not expecting the pickup to happen for about an hour or so. So we can do at least an hour, I think. Once I get the signal, if we're still in the game, we will have to pause and come back a few minutes later and continue. So the way things are looking, unless circumstances change, of course, tonight's stream will be in two parts. So this is part one, and part two will come up after I fulfill my family duties, if you will. I sound like Mafia for some reason. I don't know why.
Gonna make you an offer you can't refuse.
Okay, Marlon Neff. Okay. Oh, Bree's in the chat. Hi, Bree. Welcome. We're certainly glad you can join us here. So again, yeah, that's the plan. We'll go as much as we can here. I expect we'll get at least an hour in before to get a signal that I have to pick somebody up. Once I get the signal, we will stop and they'll pick up the game after I come back. So I'll let you know on the Discord when we will resume. If we can somehow finish the chapter before I have to leave, then obviously we won't continue. And if it gets late enough, well, as they say in my line of work, we'll just play it by ear, shall we? Oh, Bree just fulfilled her daughterly duties and are eating spaghetti. I'd love to have spaghetti tonight. I just had, I kind of wolfed down a souvlaki stick of pork from the guy who operates the truck on the corner. So
It must be a noodle.
a noodle? No, I don't think. In my neighborhood, we have the Greek truck, and we have a lot of Mexican and Latin American trucks that sell stuff. So, no, none of those noodles. If anything, we get them very rarely. Sometimes we get, once in a blue moon, we'll get a noodle truck in our neighborhood. Once in a blue moon, we'll get a truck that sells $25 lobster roll sandwiches. Which, out of this world, but $25.
$25, they better feed it to you, okay? Just no.
At that rate, I'd rather take the $10 sandwich from McDonald's that you can sometimes get in New England. So, anywho, yes, let's go ahead and set things up here. And as I do that, Neff, it looks like you have an Easter Sunday start to your Ontario showdown.
Yes, well, let's just say there's going to be a few eggs cracked, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because given the enemy, the Senators,
Right.
and their captain, who is basically a thug, I fully suspect there's going to be some bodies flying, and I'm not sure how far and which ones.
All right. So let's get started here, and I'm gonna have my phone available and ready to go in case we have to put the brakes on this. Okay. This episode is called The Walking Dead, no relation to that popular TV series or that Telltale Games series. And we are here. This is where we left off. In the cemetery, Nev. How quaint.
Yes, you could say we dug up some excitement.
So Celeste is with Tyrion. Tyrion, what are we doing here? And this is the first scene after they leave the courtroom. I'm not sure. For some reason, you felt drawn to this place. Oh, really now?
Oh, dear.
So we were just drawn to this place, apparently.
Get in.
I was going to say, that's a grave error.
Wait, is that Eris? Oh, well, that would be why. Celeste points further into the cemetery. There you see Eris standing in front of a gravestone. She's placing flowers in and appears to be chanting a short prayer. Well, we found her. We should probably talk to her later. It would be rude to disturb her now. As you're about to leave, Eris suddenly turns to face you. Oh. She's far away, but you can see her beckoning you over. Oh, hello there. Were you two looking for me? Sorry, we were looking for you, but we understand if you'd rather talk later. No, I was just finishing up here. Did you have something you wanted to talk to me about? Well, we wanted to ask you some questions about the case. Oh? Okay, let's talk to her. The trial. That was my first time watching a court trial. You were truly remarkable. Thank you. Were you in the gallery? I've always enjoyed watching physical battles in the theater, but I see now that battles of wits can be just as entertaining to watch. Entertaining? Yeah, I know what you mean. You see the odds are stacked against him, but then he suddenly pulls out this crazy deduction and steers the trial in his favor. I've never really thought of it like that. But I'm sure it's far more entertaining to be the one making the deductions. I'm not really sure what you mean. I practice law so that I can help those persecuted by the justice system. Remember, that's the mentality in this game, that the justice system is totally wrong. I don't really do it to entertain myself. But is that really true? Don't you find the experience even the least bit entertaining, Tyrion? You saw that, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
She had an evil look, and then we saw that glitch again, right?
Yep.
I wouldn't really put it that way. You're far too modest. You save people from the clutches of death. To your clients, you might as well be a knight in shining armor. Earlier you said that you were studying illusion magic. I am. Did you want to ask me about the prosecution's theory? Yes, actually. How did you know? It was easy to guess after seeing you in the courthouse. Anyways, disguising an undead with an illusion is definitely possible. And as Lady Steele once said, illusory disguise would be the best spell to use for that. What if someone created a freestanding illusion? A freestanding illusion? Yeah, we know that Wallace didn't animate and disguise the professor's corpse. So what if the illusion wasn't disguising anything? Maybe someone created a freestanding illusion of Bellwether walking around? For something like that, one would probably use Major Illusion. Major Illusion. Meluzo. Creates a three-dimensional illusion. The illusion can take the form of any object or creature that could be contained in a 10-foot cube. While concentrating, the caster can animate and move the image to a different location within range. The illusion is purely visual and can't be physically touched. Oh.
It wouldn't be that then.
What'd you say, Liz?
It wouldn't be that spell then.
No, it wouldn't.
Because if it can't be touched, it wouldn't have knocked over that vase.
You're good at this stuff.
No, I play a lot of D&D.
It helps.
I got you, Dungeon Master. Have this. No. What is it? I don't think major illusion is what we're looking for. Do you remember what Jan said? I was cleaning a mess in the hallways. Bellwether knocked over a vase and there were shards and dirt everywhere. You see, like Liz said. If the bellwether that Jan saw was a major illusion, then she couldn't have knocked over that vase. Thank you, thank you. Pat Liz on the back now. What?
They could have cast a minor illusion on one of the animated statues. Animated armors.
Yep. Ooh. So that's your theory now, instead of putting the animated body in the armor.
I could see it going either way.
Right. Illusions created by that spell don't have any mass. I see. How perceptive of you. He's talking about the minor illusion now. Aren't there any other illusion spells that do have mass? No, illusions can only recreate visual and auditory sensations. But there isn't a single illusion spell that someone can touch. So that means that someone disguised something to make it look like Bellwether. Sad. Or fear. Why the look of suspicion, Celeste? Sorry, I wasn't. Calm down, I'm only joking. I don't blame you for considering every possibility. In fact, I'm flattered you think I'm capable of pulling off such an elaborate ruse. I want to take a moment here. I know I want to blow through this, but I want to see something real quick. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out why her hands would be wrapped like that. Maybe it's just that's her personal appearance, which is why I looked at the autopsy just to make sure. Yeah, no signs of cuts or bruising. Oh, but there was that wound that one of the twins saw, yeah? Okay, that's interesting. Anyways, this does tell us one important thing. What's that? The bellwether that Jan saw had a physical mass to it. It wasn't a freestanding illusion. It was someone or something disguised as bellwether. Jan's statement. Okay, so this is what he said when we spoke to him last time. 30 minutes before the INS twins found the body, bellwether walked past Jan in the West Wing hallway. He was in her path. He shoved him out of the way. After that, she knocked over a vase and shattered it. Even though Jan didn't say anything to her, she yelled at him to be quiet. After this interaction, she walked into Lecture Hall 2B, which is where the body was found. The bellwether witnessed by Jan Hughes must have been disguised with an illusion. In addition to that, whoever you saw that day was physically there. You got all that?
Okay, but stop right there. When you reanimate a corpse, can it speak?
Oh.
I don't think it can.
Let's see.
Speaks in Bellwether's voice. Be
Mm.
quiet would be something that the library would say.
Right.
Yeah.
The Arcane Constructs has Catherine's voice, yeah.
Yeah, so if I'm right in the spell, then you must be using the arcane construct to move the body around. Otherwise it doesn't work.
Right. All right. Let's see if we can talk to her again. Gravestone. It's quite a shame, isn't it? Eris looks pensively at the gravestone. The name on the stone says Emily Grant, and her lifetime appears to be awfully short. She must have only been 12 years old when she died. Sorry for interrupting you. Was she someone you knew? Not personally. I'm actually here on Wallace's behalf. Wallace knew her. Wallace joined the academy as part of a program run by Headmaster Redmond. At the time, the headmaster was reaching out to mages among the common folk. He had started a program to admit these mages to the academy without having to pay tuition. Both Emily and Wallace were among those mages. Wow, that must have been an amazing opportunity for them. The truth is, neither of them actually cared about learning magic. The real problem was that Emily had a terminal illness. She and Wallace were poor orphans, and they obviously didn't have the resources to treat it. But if they enrolled in the academy would be obligated to give her medical treatment. The Imperial Academy teaches the best mages in the kingdom. They thought that curing her illness would be an easy task for the Academy's healers, but they were mistaken, I'm afraid. I'm sure you know this by now, but healing spells can only treat wounds. They can't cure illnesses. Emily's condition only got worse over the years, and eventually she succumbed to her illness. Wallace was furious. He didn't understand why the kingdom was outlawing magic that could save lives. And that's why he decided to learn it himself. Yes, the headmaster was inspired by Wallace's resolve. He gave him access to the Academy's forbidden tomes of necromancy, and Wallace taught himself the spells that he knows today. That's interesting. So that's why supposed to say a secret between him and the headmaster, but I'm sure you know how. Did you see that, Liz?
Oh no, I looked away. I missed it.
Oh no, she had an evil reaction. She gave us the evil look. And then we have the glitch on the screen again, and she appears like this. Ooh, how could you describe it, Neff?
The evil stare.
It's almost like, it's like a, how can I describe this well? It's like, wait a minute, a glimpse into her real psyche? It's like, ugh.
Is that it for talk? Okay. Let's see. Anything to examine in the graveyard? The grave of Emily Grant. It's a shame that she died so young. You briefly say a brief prayer to Bahamut. It's a grave for an individual that you don't know. It'd be best to leave it undisturbed.
Oof.
Well, thank you, Captain Obvious. And all these are for people we don't know. Okay, so we're done here.
Repario Arcanum.
And no, Imperium Arcanum Expecto Patronum, no. All right, so we're done. Nothing to present to her, I guess, right?
Well, before you go, that large gravestone, that one that's really odd looking,
Hmm.
can we look at
The
that?
leaf one.
That's already checked.
Oh, we checked that right, okay.
It's a grave for an individual that you don't know, Neff. It's best to leave it undisturbed.
Okay, I'm just looking at that grave. I'm going, apparently that person was buried with Viagra.
Oh, come on!
I'm sorry, Liz. Wait a minute. Oink.
It's the holiest of days, and we're making those jokes. Wow.
What can I say?
I can't present the spell to her, can I? What do you think about this, Eris? Really now? I can't tell you everything you need to get through this case. What would be the fun in that? Oh, really?
Bird.
Oh my god.
Wait a minute. Something about that smells.
She's mean.
Yeah. Let's see. Move to the library or the foyer. We'll try this. Oh, it's you, Mr. Cuthbert, our prosecutor. Steelwind, what are you doing here? After what happened at the trial yesterday, I decided it would be best to start my investigation here. Right, Wallace was in the library for the entire morning, so it makes sense that she started her search here. Actually, since I have you here, have you seen Eris Ilmater anywhere? It's my understanding that you're both acquainted with each other. Eris, what do you want with her? It's not for anything serious, mind you. It's just that oaf of a commoner lost her spell compendium. Now we need her to produce another one for our records. If you see her, please let her know that we'd like to speak to her. Well, there you go, Liz. She conveniently loses her spell compendium.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Imagine that. We saw her earlier in the cemetery nearby, but I have no idea where she is now. Once again, I have to compensate for that idiot's mistakes. Anyways, I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the case. Very well, I suppose I still need to honor our deal from earlier. Oh. Have you had any luck finding the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, I haven't. From the witnesses' testimonies, we have a rough idea of the route Bellwether took, but none of the rooms we've checked have any sign of a struggle. Why are you so sure that a struggle happened? I'm mainly basing that off of the Ianna's sisters' testimonies. Valerie in particular noticed that the bleeding came from a wound in her stomach. And maybe there is an explanation for the bandages around Eris's hands. Regrettably, the body's wounds were mended, so we can't determine what kind of weapon the murderer used. Ooh, the wound was mended by
Oh, yeah.
mend wounds?
Yeah, that's what men wounds.
Right.
are.
During the trial, you mentioned that another witness saw Bellwether walking around yesterday. Would you be willing to tell us who that person is? I'm sorry, but I can't tell you that. You're caught a little off guard. You've been pretty transparent with your investigation so far. What's changed? I have no obligation to justify myself to you, nor do I have an obligation to help the opposition. Didn't we have a deal? Hiding information doesn't exactly seem fair to us. I believe I've given you plenty of information already, so regardless of what I said before, the answer is still no. Her family is dangerous. Who is her family?
I think I know.
The Eye of Horus catches a stray thought from her. Eris's family?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean, he says. There's something about this witness's family that you're worried about. Uh-oh. No, this could be a feint. I'm sorry, but you'll have to try harder than that if you want to bluff me. She referred to the witness as her. Furthermore, she said that her family is dangerous. Why would she go to such lengths to hide the witness's identity? In any case, it looks like she's not willing to share more at the moment. Maybe you should try looking somewhere else. Anything you want to examine here? The library is full of books for educational purposes. It's too bad they don't have any fictional books. Were you looking for a novel to read? Yeah, I was hoping they'd have some mystery novels I could read. You like mystery novels? Of course, why do you think I like this job so much? I've never really been a fan of the mystery genre. What? But your whole career is about solving mysteries. Exactly, it's exhausting. When I read a novel, I just want to read about simple fantasy stories and classic heroes. I guess that makes sense. What about you, Steelwind? I don't really have time for such things. We have some things here. It's a globe of the world. It's amazing how many other nations there are aside from Wyvengard. I've been to most of these places. You should come with me next time, Tyrion. Isn't traveling to the border heavily restricted? Oh, don't worry, I won't report you. I can't exactly blame you for wanting to leave. There are tables for students to sit at while they study. I don't think I can handle studying here day after day. It's a holy text from the Church of Bahamut. I read some of these with Eris earlier. I've been meaning to ask, do you guys worship dragons in Wyvengard? I've never really been the religious type, but I've seen some devout worshippers in the capital. It's the most prominent religion here. The scaled Lord Rathalion is said to be the source of all arcane magic. It's no wonder that he's such a large part of our culture. Alright, and we will detect magic here just to be sure.
Repario Arcanum.
Nope. That's it. So we shall move. We have the foyer. We have the locker room. The locker room. What would you like to go to, Liz?
Let's go to the locker room.
The locker room. You spend some time wandering through the academy where you overhear a conversation from a nearby room. From what I understand, Miss Steelwind has already moved the investigation elsewhere. How long must I wait before I can retrieve my things? Sorry, old-timer. Orders are orders. Nothing comes in or out till this case is over and done with. Commander White, and the headmaster too? Oh, hello, Mr. Cuthbert. Hey, kid. In any case, there are other matters I must attend to. Please inform me when I can reclaim my things. Sure. Looks like Commander White is standing guard in front of this locker room, and it doesn't look like he's conducting any sort of investigation. Is he here on Steelwind's orders? He might be able to tell you who this secret witness is. What was the headmaster talking to you about? Supposedly he has some items stored in one of the faculty lockers. The problem is Steelwind said no one gets in or out of this room, except for her and you two, apparently. She won't even let the other knights in here. Really? Is that normal? Nope, but things rarely are when she's calling the shots. Why would she give you access to the crime scene if she wasn't even letting the knights in? Steelwind's orders have been added to your notes. She appears to be conducting the investigation single-handedly. I don't know what her deal is, but she's been acting strange lately. She's been real paranoid, that girl. Frankly, I can't tell what's going through her head. You mentioned that the prosecutor's been paranoid lately. Do you think it has something to do with this case? Nah, it started way before that. Lately, she's been using the Inquisition to investigate a lot of non-magical homicides. Oh, which is not the norm in this atmosphere. Wouldn't it be easier to work with relevant law enforcement for that? I don't know why, but she's convinced that these cases have magic involved. We scanned each and every one of these crime scenes. Nothing turned up. I gotta say, though, if it weren't for the scans, I might actually agree with her. Why do you say that? Those homicides, I haven't ever seen anything like them. They're probably some of the most screwed up cases I've ever handled. For one of those cases, we had ourselves a disgruntled spouse. She found out that her man was going around with a barkeep. And you know what the spouse does? She stalks the poor woman. She starts leaving threatening notes all around where she worked. The barkeep told the city watch all about what was happening, but no matter how much they staked out the tavern, they can never catch the perp. Then one day, the barkeep arrived home, but little did she know the spouse was waiting for her. Poor lady never had a chance. Then to tie the whole thing together, the spouse waits for her husband to go home. She cooks him a big roast using the barkeep's remains.
Ooh.
Oh! Wait, is that Bree?
It is me.
When did you sneak in here?
A couple minutes ago.
Okay. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Not too bad over here. Like I said, playing tonight's proceedings by ear until I get the phone call of doom. She cooks him a big roast using the barkeep's remains. Find time for me to notice the breeze in the room. Possible explanation. That story is pretty, I know. Steelwind thinks someone's developed a new type of magic that can control people's minds. And these homicides were some kind of sick test run. Magic that can control people's minds. But wouldn't Mage Blight make more sense? Mage Blight? When a mage overuses their magic, it can have pretty bad consequences on their mind. They temporarily lose grip of reality and begin seeing things that aren't there. When a mage becomes like that, it almost never ends well. They enter a frenzy and begin firing spells randomly, which only makes it worse. I've seen my fair share of Mage Blight cases, and this isn't like that. Not all of the perps were mages, and the ones that were didn't even use their magic. One thing was that each of the perps almost seemed to wake up after we arrested them. All of them said things like, "It wasn't me," or "I didn't have a choice." I didn't have a choice? What could that mean? I doubt it means anything. Sometimes people can't face the things they've done. It's easier to say that you've had no control than to take responsibility. Anyway, the secret witness. You wonder if you can mislead the commander into revealing who the secret witness is. During the trial, Miss Steelwind mentioned that someone other than Jan Hughes saw Bellwether walking around. Have you seen them around lately? We wanted to speak with them. Heh, nice try, kid. Womp womp. Well, it was worth a shot. Honestly, I couldn't tell you if I wanted to. I don't think anyone other than Steelwind knows who this witness is. I sure as hell don't. What? She's even hiding it from the Inquisition commander? Why is she being so secretive? It looks like the commander doesn't know who this secret witness is either. This isn't getting us anywhere. Steelwind's behavior is strange, though. Perhaps you could try analyzing her behavior. If you do that, you might be able to find a way to convince her to help you. The music just changed, so I think I'm going to save the game. Okay. I'm sorry?
Might be wise.
Yeah. Steelwind's behavior has been strange this time around. She's hiding elements of the case, even from the commander. Anyone can tell that she doesn't have much faith in him. I'm standing right here. But this is the first time I've seen her hide key details of a case from him. What is motivating Steelwind to keep secrets? There has to be a reason why she's being so secretive. What is motivating Steelwind to keep secrets? Logic, paranoia, or arrogance? Well, we know she has paranoia at the moment. Maybe is she paranoid about something?
Seems like it.
Her actions must be driven by paranoia. She's been hoarding information about the case. There's only one reason why she wouldn't utilize the Inquisition like she usually does. It's because she doesn't trust them. I hate to say it, but that doesn't really surprise me. She's always been standoffish with us. But there is one exception. Who has Steelwind trusted for this case? There are individuals who she's trusted more than the Inquisition during this case. Who has Steelwind trusted for this case? Wallace, Commander White, Tyrion and Celeste, the headmaster. Liz?
Oh, geez. Well, she was trusting Commander White, but she's kind of pissed off at him now.
Right. Also, giving some information to Tyrion and Celeste themselves at to a point.
Yeah. I could see either way, either Commander White or Tyrion and Celeste.
Okay. Neff, you want to narrow that down, or you want to try one of those two?
I would say Tyrion and Celeste, because she's been saying stuff that she's never done before, right? About cases that we've seen so far.
Okay.
It was weird.
Well, let's give this a shot. I have it saved anyway. She let us investigate the crime scenes without any restrictions. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Does she trust us that much? I don't think personal trust is the reason. Why does Steelwind trust us this time? We don't usually interact with her, and she's worked with the Inquisition on plenty of cases that we weren't even involved in. Oh, now we're playing slots. Why does Steelwind trust us this time? So, first choices are Steelwind, the headmaster, Tyrion, Wallace, isn't, controlled by, capable of, a member of, an employee of, controlled by, using magic, the faculty, the Inquisition, the nobility. Uh-oh. What do you think, Neff?
Well, I see. The problem is Wallace is not a member of the nobility, right?
Wallace isn't part of the nobility. Right. Well, let's take a look at these. Steelwind is. The headmaster is not. Tyrion is not. Wallace is not.
So the headmaster is an employee of the facility. We know that.
Right.
That doesn't mean why she would trust us on this case, right?
Right.
So Tyrion is not an employee of the facility. Maybe she doesn't trust the facility. And Tyrion is the only one who's not. Well, Wallace isn't either, so that doesn't.
Tyrion isn't a member of the nobility. Now, the fact that both of these,
No, go ahead. Sorry.
This could be a starting point. One of these two, because if they're not a member of the nobility, then they're not. They're sort of like in a different class, if you will. But I think I'm willing to try this because it answers the question, why does Steelwind trust us? You know what I'm saying? Anybody else have another suggestion? Okay, then we'll try this. No, there's a key difference between us and the Inquisition.
And the Inquisition? Okay.
We don't answer to anyone, and we aren't subject to corruption. So why would that make Steelwind trust us this time around? Oh, well, if you say something like that, then this might be the answer. Tyrion isn't controlled by the nobility. There we go. Steelwind doesn't know much about us, but she does know that we aren't prone to noble corruption. Right, you indicted a noble during the last case. Meanwhile, the Inquisition usually bends to the nobility's whims. Well, I can't argue with you there. What can you infer? That's our favorite word. What can you infer about the secret witness? Using my insight, I could tell that she's worried about the witness's family, and if she's worried about corruption from the nobility, that can only mean one thing, and it's not Steelwind as a student.
Witness?
The witness is the only other option, is a student, suspect, noble. Oh!
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Aha! The witness has to belong to a noble family. That's why she's so wary of interference. But we're obviously not going to do anything corrupt. Why is she hiding the witness's identity from us? You recall seeing a thought through the eye. Her family is dangerous. I think she's worried about our safety. Yeah, I guess harassing a noble could put you in danger, but I'm the protege of the infamous Ruby Tamora. Yeah, it's not if we aren't already on the nobility's bad side. I'm sure the Pierce family still has it out for us. This can only mean that the family we're dealing with is even more powerful than House Pierce. The prosecutor is wary of them. They could even be as powerful as the Steelwinds. Wait, don't tell me you think we're dealing with one of the four pillars. Four pillars? It's a name people use for the top four noble houses. These families stand at the top of the kingdom's aristocracy. If I recall correctly, the four pillars are House Frigga, House von Sanctus, House Sybil, and House Steelwind. Ooh. So along those levels. Steelwind is a part of one of them? Yeah, which makes it so much weirder that she's serving as a prosecutor. Neff, I hereby call a mistrial.
Only now?
The four pillar families has been added to your notes. What is it? Steelwind's weird behavior all started after she investigated this room. We were at the crime scene and she left to follow a lead. But an hour later, she came back to the lecture hall and booted everyone out. Her behavior changed after investigating this room. That means that she found something here. And that something must point to a family from the four pillars. The commander looks a bit anxious. You know, Steelwind's orders say I can't snoop around here. But you two, on the other hand, don't worry, just leave it to us. I have some school records that say which locker belongs to which student. You can use it to tell whose locker you're looking at. Oh!
Well, thank you very much, sir.
Okay, well, let's save our game and then we will take a look. Oh, there's an arcane construct in the back here. It's probably here to aid the students. Anyways, I don't think it's relevant to our investigation. But perhaps you should make a small note of it anyways. So, you know what that means. It is relevant. Now, why would there be a construct in the locker room? Imagine that. You use the legend that the commander gave you. You look carefully across the list and find some notable student names. Wallace Nightgrave, Miriam Frege, Jaden von Sanctus, Warren Sybil. Oh, okay. So we have the defendant and 3 of the 4 houses in the 4 pillars. Bree, what would you like to look at first?
Start from the top.
Okay. You open Wallace's locker. Inside you find a bottle of fragrant liquid and something that looks like a makeup kit. I didn't expect Wallace to use stuff like this. It does seem strange, but it's not your place to judge. Anyways, you should try looking through the other lockers. You used a legend that the commander gave you. Okay. What do you want to do? Frigga next? We just want to go down the line? All right. You open the locker with Miriam Frigga's ID number. Inside you find a stack of worn-out textbooks and notebooks. Wait a minute. Those notebooks all have Wallace's name on them. Oh! You open the notebook and look through its pages. It appears to be research on the art of necromancy. Hello! These are Wallace's notebooks, but why are they in Miriam Frigga's locker? Did Miriam steal his things? What's going on here? You and Celeste check the locker more thoroughly. Wait a minute. Tyrion, take a look at this. That's blood. Oh!
Uh-oh.
There's a stain of blood inside the locker with Miriam Frigga's ID number. You used a legend that the commander gave you. Well, is there anything else you want to look at? Von Sanctus?
I would look at them all just because. This might be not as simple as we think.
Jaden Von Sanctus's locker. Inside you find several bottles of some kind of transparent lotion. There's nothing but lotion in here. Oh, I wonder why a student would need this much lotion. You take one of the bottles to inspect it more closely. ... Wait, Tyrion, don't touch those with your hands. It's some kind of sanitizing liquid. It's a little strange, but it doesn't seem to be related to the case. Okay. And finally, Warren Sybil's locker. Inside you find some textbooks and a neatly stacked deck of tarot cards. Oh, it's like those cards that fortune tellers use. I wonder if this student studies divination magic. But anyways, I don't think this is related to the case. Well, that's it. We found a few things, but I can't really make sense of any of it. Really now. We should look at this from the prosecutor's perspective. Steelwind found something in one of the lockers. Whose locker had the most suspicious evidence? It had to be the person with the hand sanitizer, right? That's exactly what it was. No, it was Frigga. No matter how we look at it, we found some insanely suspicious things in Frigga's locker. It had Wallace's notebooks and even some blood. But that blood is certainly strange. It implies that something bloody was stored there. Do you think someone stole it? Here's my thought. Do you think somebody stuffed a body into that locker? No, but that would be too grotesque, wouldn't it? No, actually. I think it was Steelwind who took it. Oh, right. Oren mentioned that she investigated this room. She must have taken the bloody item as evidence. But with that said, there's something else that's strange about Miriam Frigga's locker. It had a lot of Wallace's possessions. Possible she really did steal these items from him. But it's more likely that this locker isn't actually hers. Remember what Wallace told us before. Sometimes the other students will steal the ID number off of my locker. Then they'd switch it with the number of another locker. They thought it was funny whenever the student who owned that locker got angry with me. So someone switched the nameplates. This means that this isn't Miriam Frigga's locker, it's Wallace's. But that would mean that the bloody object came from Wallace's locker. It appears so. So stain of blood with Miriam Frigga's ID number. This locker actually belongs to Wallace Nightgrave. Someone must have switched the ID numbers with Miriam's locker. Okay, but then what does that prove? Somebody's trying to conceal the evidence or something? Or have some other ulterior motive?
Or to make it look like Wallace did it.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense. But if that's true, why didn't Steelwind present the bloody item during the trial? I proved that Bellwether was wounded before Valerie healed her. Wouldn't that have been the perfect time to present what she found? It was a bloody item found in the defendant's locker after all. She could have easily proved that the nameplates were switched too. Right, that is weird. There's something more to this that you aren't seeing, but what? I think we'll just have to ask Steelwind ourselves. Okay, well, I guess that's what we're gonna do. She was in the library. Oh, you're back. We've uncovered a few things during our investigation. Miss Steelwind, are you acquainted with a student named Miriam Frigga? I underestimated him. Oh. I said it before, Mr. Cuthbert. I won't fall for such an obvious bluff. It's not a bluff, Miss Steelwind, and I'll prove it using the evidence we've gathered. Uh-oh. Area Steelwind's psychological profile is complete. Okay, so then... arguments. Yeah, we're going to save. We're going to have an argument. Nanny, nanny, nanny. Okay. Argument. Steelwind is paranoid, and for whatever reason, it's due to the involvement of Miriam Frigga. If you can convince her to reveal why she's being so secretive, she might give you more information. Would you like to start an argument with the area Steelwind? Yes, I would. Argument. You've been behaving strangely, Steelwind. Psychological profile. Steelwind is extremely logical and won't accept arguments that aren't supported by evidence. However, she has become secretive lately and her actions seem to stem from paranoia. Uneasy about case elements that relate to Miriam Frigga, and she's very inclined to hide Frigga's involvement from the court at all costs. Even the Knights of the Inquisition have noticed. Please just tell me, why are you being so paranoid? I'm not sure what you're trying to imply, Mr. Cuthbert. Nothing about my behavior has changed. I'm approached this case objectively, just like I have with every other case. Okay, we need to present something to change this, or challenge this. What do we have? Let's see the recent stuff we got. Evidence in the locker. Construct in the locker room. 4-pillar families. Steelwind orders. Well,
I think that bloody notebook would make her go.
Evidence in the locker.
Mm-hmm.
And what is this supposed to be? It's clear evidence that your behavior has changed. Please, what kind of fool do you take me for? Uh-oh.
Oops.
I've already told you, your bluffs won't work on me. So I guess we could keep at it unless you want to restart.
It's the 4 pillars.
The 4 pillars. And what is this supposed to be? It's clear evidence. Oh, it's not.
Oh.
Okay, then I guess we better reload.
Steelwind's orders then.
Oh wait, but we can't unless. Hang on a second. We'll return to the title screen, but that's fine. We'll just load the game again. And we'll just start the argument again. So if it's not the 4 pillars... If it's not the 4 pillars or the evidence, what could it be?
Her orders.
Her orders. You want to try her orders?
I think that's the only thing left.
Yeah.
You've ordered the Knights to stay away from the crime scene, and you've even taken it upon yourself to conduct the investigation yourself. That is not normal behavior for a prosecutor. I took those actions because the Inquisition is incompetent. How could I possibly trust them with anything? The Knights are incompetent, but even you can see the value of delegation. During Celeste's case, you still delegated tasks to the Inquisition. You could have easily investigated the McCoy Tavern yourself. This academy is huge. You won't conduct your investigation this way unless you had a good reason. Ah, there we go. Then why don't you enlighten me? Why would I act in such a way? What would cause me to behave so strangely? I think now, Bree, we present this. Or this.
I
Would
tried
you-
with the pillars.
Want to try out the pillars?
Pillars.
You know that the Inquisition is corrupt and will bend to the nobility, so what would happen if a powerful noble were publicly involved in this case? With that noble's influence, they probably ordered the Inquisition to conceal their involvement. A high-profile noble is involved in the case, Steelwind, and I believe that noble is Miriam Frigga. Again with this, do you think you can bluff me by throwing out the names of random nobles? Not every noble is a malevolent criminal like Garrick Pierce. I've said it before and I'll say it again. My investigation doesn't involve the Friggas. Nothing about this case has anything to do with House Frigga. Now is the evidence in the locker.
Okay, this is just like, okay, you have to a certain weight.
Then how do you explain this deal when the commander told us that you were following a lead in the locker room yesterday? We investigated the lockers of students from the Four Pillar families. And we found stains of blood in the locker with Miriam Frigga's ID number, and it was presumably left by a bloody object. Boosh! The bloody object was taken by someone, and we heard that you became extremely paranoid after you found something in the locker room. If I had to guess, I'd say that you took the bloody object as evidence. And what evidence do you have to support these outrageous claims? What? The only thing you have is evidence of a bloodstain. There is a myriad of explanations for that. Everything else you mention is pure speculation. You can't prove that piece of evidence exists. I could have found any number of things in that room, or possibly nothing at all. Uh-oh. Appeal, rationalize, or threaten. What do we want to do? You're hiding evidence, Miss Steelwind. Do you not see how wrong that is? Let's not be coy, Miss Steelwind. Anyone can tell that the bloodstain is the most notable thing in that room. If you don't present what you found to the court, I'll have no choice but to pull the owner of that locker onto the stand. Ooh, I think that's more challenging. What do you think, Liz? Threaten?
Yeah, go for threaten.
You found an object in the locker with Miriam Frigga's nameplate on it. If you don't present what you found to the court, I'll have no choice but to pull the owner of that locker onto the stand. That's ridiculous. We both know that the locker in question belongs to Wallace Nightgrave. Can you unequivocally prove that, Miss Steelwind? Because the way I see it, there's a lot of room for doubt there. Enough doubt for me to pull Miss Frigga onto the witness stand. But if I had more context, maybe I wouldn't have to resort to that. Argument 1! Well played, Mr. Cuthbert. I suppose I don't have a choice, do I? You successfully persuaded Arya Steelwind. So now what? Talk. The truth. Just so we're clear, I wasn't acting to protect the nobility. But I'll admit that Miriam Frigga was the other witness that saw Bellwether that day. I see. I had some suspicions, but there's also another matter. Steelwind looks uneasy. When I was investigating the body, I found this. Evidence of academic dishonesty. A tightly packed folder containing several documents. The documents contain evidence dealing multiple instances of plagiarism, fraud, bribery of school officials, and various other offenses committed by Miriam Frigga. I wonder if Miriam Frigga was that person we saw in the room at the end of one of those chapters before we went to the courtroom. What do you guys think?
Yeah, probably the one that was complaining about her rapier.
What the? It looks like Miriam's been cheating at school. But why would Bellwether have something like this? From the way it's arranged, I think it might have been blackmail. Miriam Frigga is considered a prodigy in the practice of conjuration magic. Oh. She's won a litany of awards, and she will most definitely graduate with honors. If these files were to reach the public, it would absolutely ruin her reputation. You think that the professor was trying to threaten her? It appears so. When I discovered this, several elements of the case were still unknown. I decided to look through her belongings, and I mistakenly looked through the locker with her ID. I found this in that locker. Bloody rapier! A rapier covered in blood! It was found in Wallace's Nightgrave's locker. Apparently, it's a valuable family heirloom to House Frigga. It's reported stolen by Miriam Frigga weeks before the murder. Hello? It's very likely that this is the murder weapon. This rapier is a valuable family heirloom for House Frigga, and a few weeks ago, Miriam reported that the rapier was stolen from her room. And then it was found in Wallace's locker. Not that I'm complaining, but why didn't you present this in court? To be honest, I'd like to avoid involving House Frigga by any means necessary. I knew it. You're just protecting her, aren't you? Miss McCoy, do you recall how Wyvernguard's justice system works? To acquit a defendant, you need to unequivocally prove that they didn't commit the crime. To do that, they either need a solid alibi, or we need to prove that someone else committed the crime. What do you suppose will happen if you bring Miriam Frigga onto the stand? House Frigga won't allow one of its members to be indicted in a court of law. They'll plant and forge evidence to implicate your defendant, and they'll use the Inquisition to do so. So that's why you've been keeping them away from the investigation. Can't you do anything? The Steel Ones are powerful too, aren't they? I don't have the support of my house. Oh. Right now I'm just a prosecutor, nothing more. Steel One, you know that this isn't fair for us. Just do nothing. Do nothing and let us win. Celeste, if we can't go after Miriam, then you can at least help us save Wallace. I'm not going to do that. Why? What if Miriam Frigga is the real killer? Her sword is the murder weapon and Bellwether was trying to blackmail her. I seem to recall another case where an innocent person's sword was used to frame them. That, as a prosecutor, is not my place to decide who's guilty and who's not. I won't engage in corruption, even if it's to counter corruption from another noble house. I'm sorry. Do you know where Miriam is right now? Didn't you hear what I just said? You can't let her think that there's even the slightest possibility you'll indict her. She'll bring the entire wrath of House Frigga down on you. Regardless, I can't do anything for Wallace until I know everything that happened. Frigga has the last piece I need to put everything together. Well, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I? Her dormitory is room 107. I imagine that she'll be there considering that classes are suspended. Thank you, Steelwind. If I don't tell you, I'm sure you'll probably just find out using some other means. But please, Mr. Cuthbert, be careful. Ooh. Okay. Dorm room 107. Oh! How noble. Okay. So let's save here. Okay. So, a little disclaimer before we continue, because I announced this once we started. We are almost an hour into the stream, and we are approaching the point where I may have to, well, not may, I will have to step away to do my duties, to pick somebody up. So, we will continue until I get said notification. Once I get the notification, we will take a break, and I'll try to give an estimate as to when we will continue. And then we'll just pick it up and continue until 10 o'clock Eastern. So that is where we stand with this, and I do appreciate your understanding. Okay, we follow Miss Steelwind's directions and find Miriam Frigga's dorm room. The door leading inside seems a lot more ornately decorated than the other dorms. You're not kidding me. You go to knock on the door, but you don't realize it's only partially closed. As your fist comes into contact with the wood, you accidentally push the door wide open. Excuse me, how dare you barge into my room? These insects have no respect. Sorry, I meant to knock, but Construct, remove these hoodlums from my room. Acknowledged. Oh no. From the corner room, an arcane construct stands up and starts making its way towards you. Before you can protest, it raises its fist to hit you.
Uh-oh.
You only have enough time to raise your arms and brace yourself for the impact. You close your eyes and wait for the blow, but instead you hear the clang of steel against steel. That's Celeste defending you. Confused, you open your eyes to see Celeste standing between you and the construct. Her sword is drawn, and she's using it to block the construct's fist. Upon taking a closer look at Celeste, the student stares curiously at her. Construct, stand down. Acknowledged. I'm terribly sorry for that. I wasn't aware that this was your servant.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Celeste looks angry and puts away her sword without a word. I haven't noticed you around campus. Are you a new student? If she has a personal attendant, she must be important. What? You see an opportunity. Yes, my master just enrolled here recently. What? Celeste gives you a puzzled look, but you make a silent gesture back. After a moment, she seems to realize what you're doing. Yes, I just started here. I take it you're Miriam Frigga. Yes, I'm honored that you recognize me. Miriam Frigga, occupation student and noble. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, miss. I'm Celeste. Celeste, she catches herself and pauses for an awkward moment. Steelwind. I'm Celeste Steelwind. Oh no.
Oh boy.
You can't believe her. There's no way she's going to believe. Steelwind, it's a pleasure to meet a member of such an esteemed house. She must be from a branch family. Maybe I can use her. Wait, she's actually buying this? Celeste, quote, Steelwind, I just moved in and I thought that I should introduce myself. Seeing as you're a top student in the field of conjugation. Yes. Well, there's no backing out now. Miss Frigga, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions about... Excuse me, I don't believe anyone has permitted you to speak. Oh, here we go. Celeste is still smiling, but you can faintly hear her grinding her teeth together. So, we heard about what happened to Professor Bellwether. I can't believe it. Yes, it's quite tragic what happened to her. She has always been an acquaintance of House Frigga. She appears to be more receptive to Celeste. It might be better to let her take the lead in the questioning. We heard that you saw her on the day of the murder. Could you tell us more about what happened? Oh, you heard about that from your relative, did you? If you don't mind me asking, why are you so interested? She's not like Arya, is she? Oh, you know, I'm just curious is all. You know how uneventful life can be sometimes, being a noble and all. All right, tone it down. Oh, is that all? I was worried you were going down the same path as that poor, confused Arya. What does she mean by that? But I'm in the middle of a study break anyways. I suppose I have some time to sate your curiosity. Construct, please prepare us some tea. Use that lotus tea we imported from the Eastern Kingdoms. She could be useful if I can win her favor. Acknowledged. Lotus tea? You have lotus juice? You feel like you're slowly losing control of this situation. Let me continue to save here. I heard that you saw the professor on the day of the murder. Where did this happen? I was in the hallways when I saw her coming out of the headmaster's office. She was heading towards the library. Do you remember what time this happened? I'm not really sure, honestly. It's a little embarrassing, but I have a bad habit of getting too absorbed in my work. Sometimes I'll let entire hours pass by without noticing. Do you have a rough idea at least? I think it was in the morning. She thinks it was in the morning? But anyways, did anything seem off about her? No, it was a short encounter. I merely greeted her and she responded in kind. Or at least that's what should have happened. That thought just now, what does it mean? You slowly glance at Celeste and catch her attention. In small motions, you shake your head to indicate that Miriam is holding something back. Were you and the professor really on good terms? I heard she was pretty mean towards the other students. Towards the riffraff, maybe, but not to students like us. She was a great ally to House Frigga, or at least she used to be. That's why we were planning on appointing her the new headmaster. Wait, what did you just say? Oh! Ahem. Did you just say your family is going to appoint Bellwether as the new headmaster? Oh, I'm surprised you didn't know. House Frigga hosts several seats on the Academy's board. We were making plans to have her replace that lout Redmond. They were going to sack the headmaster. Did Headmaster Redmond know about this? Oh, of course not. This was part of a large-scale plan. Along with Redmond, we were also going to replace all of the staff members with arcane constructs. We had to keep everything under wraps or else the help would have left prematurely. And where would that leave us? But Jan supposedly overheard Bellwether talking about the constructs. Did Bellwether prematurely reveal the plan, or is Jan lying about how he found out? But alas, with Bellwether gone, we'll have to delay our plans. Bellwether's plan. Okay. Frigga's rapier. So we heard that Arya took your rapier as evidence for the case. Can you believe her? She still won't give it back to me. My father will have her head if I can't get it back soon. How did it even become a part of the investigation anyways? I don't know. Arya won't tell me anything. I swear, if that necromancer was the one who stole it, I'll execute him myself. So someone did steal it from you. Yes, from right out of my room. When did this happen? About a few weeks ago. I noticed when I came back from one of my classes, someone removed the rapier from its display case in my room. How did they get into your room in the first place? Do you think someone used magic to teleport past the door? Please, I'm a master of conjuration magic. If someone attempted that, my enchantments would have shunted them out. This means the thief came through one of the doors or windows. I bet it was that necromancer. I'm sure it's a street child like him just knows how to pick a lock. I've heard that you're one of the Academy's top students. Your grades must be amazing. Of course, as an inheritor of House Frigga, my grades are impeccable. It feels good to have my greatness recognized. That's strange. You don't see anything contradictory through the eye this time. You make a gesture towards Celeste to continue pressing her. Oh, what kind of magic do you study here? You must be joking. I study magic from the School of Conjuration. Uh-oh, I'm getting a phone call. Stand by. Okay, we're going to try to finish this real quick. Just like most members of my house, the School of Conjuration, that's the type of magic that specializes in spatial manipulation and teleportation, right? Yes, I consider myself quite the expert in that field, while the Crown Prince himself has asked for my assistance in a research study. It's nice to work with someone of my caliber. Again, you don't see any thoughts that contradict what she's saying. Does that mean she's not lying? If she's smart enough to get the Crown Prince's attention, why would she be cheating? Okay, so we are going to save. And let's see. Okay, we are going to have to stop. I'm going to have to leave and do my pickup. Let's say we come back at 8:45 Eastern. So in a little less than 30 minutes from now. Does that sound okay with everybody?
Works
Yep.
for me.
Yep.
Yep.
Okie dokie. So if you're watching the stream, we will be right back. We will see you at 8:45 here on XAR on Twitch and YouTube. We'll see you for part 2 and hopefully finish this trial. Chapter, you know what I mean. See you guys in a bit.